Lead the Way, a podcast for school leaders with author, speaker, and educator, Dr. Bill Ziegler.
Welcome to Lead the Way, a podcast for ed leaders by ed leaders in 5 minutes or less. Today, I am thrilled to have a complete rock star, a good friend, and my partner with Principles of Learning, Mr. Matt Moyer. Matt Moyer is the Pennsylvania Elementary Principal of the Year, and he's also a National Distinguished Principal. But I think he's most proud of the fact that he's the principal of Rupert Elementary School in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Matt, it's so great to have you on the program today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Matt, you talk about the power of collaboration with leaders. Tell us more about that and tell our listeners how you're working to collaborate around good leadership.
Sure. I think one of my philosophies that I've learned over time comes from an African proverb, which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And if you follow that principle as a leader, when things come up and challenges come your way, instead of sitting in your office and determining what you think is the best course of action, you work collaboratively with others. So we all have challenges, and right now we certainly have many of them. And my way of working means I gather the troops together. I get together with teachers and classroom assistants and whoever it is that these decisions impact, and we work together as a team to come up with the best possible solution. And you know, what I found in my life is that when I've tried to make the decisions on my own, they typically don't lead to success and long-term success. If you want to go far, you have to go together as a group and as a team. And a philosophy that the collective understanding of a group is better than just one or two is really what works for me.
Yeah, I just love that. If you want to go far, you got to go together. You know, you talk about bringing people together collaboratively. How do you do that as a leader when all of your people are scattered now in their homes virtually teaching? Well, how do you bring them all together?
That's a great question. I mean, the good news is today we have technology. So I stay connected with everyone in a variety of ways through text messages and phone calls. But for me, FaceTime with people, and that doesn't mean FaceTime from Facebook. I mean Google Meet or Zoom chats. You know, we get together and we make sure that we have that kind of FaceTime to work through things. Just had a number of those meetings this week with my team. We carve out that time in our schedule to make sure that it is sacred and that we don't miss it. And that's important too. You know, we're very, very busy, obviously, with everything going on. Everything's moving and changing quickly. You have to carve out the time and make sure that it's sacred and say, this is the time. But then you respect people's time by ending on time. So you start on time and you end on time, and people appreciate that. And that allows you to make sure that your collaboration is focused and has a start and an end point for everyone that they can get on to their day.
I really like how you talk about being intentional and really almost scheduling time to collaborate. I think it's so important that we do that as leaders. You've done some really awesome things at Rupert Elementary School. Tell us a little bit more about how you're collaborating with your staff there to move students forward.
Well, you know, like I said, there's lots of things that I could highlight. I think the one that always stands out to me that's really most important is the way that we establish rapport and relationships with families. It's at the basis of everything that we do. And we collaborate together as a team to recognize children, to recognize families. You know, I've talked before with you and lots of folks about a program we do called Impact. And that involves going to visit homes of students to recognize them. And that's a team effort. It's actually, as I learned, you know, top-down, bottom-up leadership. It's something that I helped start, but now we have leaders within the building who run that themselves and are champions of that program. And that matters. You have to have, you know, building leaders who really buy in and help lead the way.
Yeah, I agree. As educational leaders, I think one of our primary responsibilities is to develop, nurture, and foster leadership within the teaching corps, paraeducator corps, and just staff in general. I think that when we bring people and we lift people up to be leaders, our entire program, our entire school district grows and flourishes. Matt, as we close out here, what's one word of encouragement you would give to ed leaders about collaborating?
I would say stay the course. Stay the course and make sure that you don't make quick decisions. You make the right decisions by working together.
And Matt, how can our listeners follow you, connect with you, and learn more about the work that you're doing?
You can follow me on Twitter at Moyer Matthew D. You can follow me on Facebook at my Facebook page, From the Principal's Office.
Outstanding, Matt. So great to have you on the program today. And we're going to talk a little bit later about a children's book that you recently wrote. Check out Matt Moyer on Amazon to learn more about his children's book that you can use in your school. Matt, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Dr. Bill Ziegler with Lead the Way. Bill has great resources for school leaders at chaselearning.org. That's chaselearning.org. Thanks for listening to Lead the Way with Dr. Bill Ziegler.